Is stress. It's a word we hear all the time, but what exactly is it? In simple terms, stress is our body's natural response to challenges or demands. It's a survival mechanism that has helped us navigate threats throughout human history. Imagine encountering a saber-toothed tiger in the wild. Your heart races, your breathing becomes rapid, and your body prepares to fight or flee. This is stress in action, and in short bursts it can be beneficial, even life-saving. However, in today's world, we often face chronic, low-grade stress that persists over long periods. This type of stress, unlike the acute stress of encountering a predator, is not beneficial. In fact, it can have detrimental effects on our physical and mental health, particularly our brains. Imagine facing a demanding boss, traffic jams, or financial worries day after day. This constant barrage of stresses takes a toll on our bodies and minds. It's like driving a car in high gear all the time. Eventually, something's got to give. Understanding how stress affects our brains is crucial for maintaining our well-being. By learning about the mechanisms of stress and how to manage it effectively, we can mitigate its negative impacts and live healthier, more fulfilling lives. At the heart of our stress response system lies the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, or HPA, axis. This complex network of glands and hormones acts like our body's central command center for dealing with stress. When we perceive a threat, the hypothalamus, a small region in the brain, sends out an alarm signal. This signal, in the form of a hormone called corticotropin-releasing hormone, or CRH, travels to the pituitary gland located at the base of the brain. The pituitary gland, in turn, releases adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH, into the bloodstream. ACTH then travels to the adrenal glands situated atop the kidneys, where it triggers the release of cortisol, our primary stress hormone. Cortisol is like the body's built-in alarm system. It surges through our bloodstream, preparing us to confront or escape from danger. This cascade of hormonal events is essential for survival in the face of acute threats. However, when the HPA axis is constantly activated due to chronic stress, cortisol levels remain elevated, leading to a host of negative consequences for our brains and bodies. Cortisol, often dubbed the stress hormone, plays a critical role in our body's response to stressful situations. In small doses, it's actually beneficial, providing a boost of energy, sharpening our focus, and enhancing our ability to cope with challenges. Think of cortisol as a shot of espresso for your brain and body. It helps us power through difficult situations and stay alert when it matters most. However, just like too much espresso can leave you feeling jittery and anxious, prolonged exposure to high levels of cortisol can have detrimental effects. When we're constantly stressed, our cortisol levels remain elevated, leading to a phenomenon known as cortisol overload. This overload can disrupt various bodily functions, including sleep, digestion, and immune function. More importantly for our purposes, chronic cortisol elevation can wreak havoc on our brains, impairing cognitive function, increasing anxiety, and even contributing to the development of mental health disorders. Section 4. Chronic stress and the brain, a toxic relationship. Chronic stress, with its accompanying surge in cortisol, can have profound and long-lasting effects on our brains. Over time, high levels of cortisol can disrupt the delicate balance of neural circuits, leading to structural changes in key brain regions involved in learning, memory, and emotional regulation. One such region is the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep within the brain that plays a crucial role in forming new memories and learning. Chronic stress can actually shrink the hippocampus, impairing our ability to learn, remember, and recall information. Another brain region profoundly affected by chronic stress is the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Under constant stress, the amygdala becomes hyperactive, making us more reactive to perceived threats and increasing our susceptibility to anxiety and fear. The prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive center responsible for planning, decision-making, and impulse control, also suffers under chronic stress. High cortisol levels can impair the prefrontal cortex's ability to regulate emotions and control impulses, leading to poor judgment, increased risk-taking, and difficulty focusing. Section 5. Epigenetics. How stress changes our genes. The impact of stress on our brains extends beyond immediate changes in brain activity and structure. It can actually alter the way our genes are expressed through a process known as epigenetics. Epigenetics refers to changes in gene expression that occur without altering the underlying DNA sequence. Think of your DNA as the hardware of your cells and your epigenome as the software that controls how that hardware is used. Stressful experiences can leave epigenetic marks on our DNA, like software glitches that affect how our genes are turned on or off. One compelling example of epigenetics in action comes from studies of rats. Researchers found that rat pups raised by neglectful mothers who provided little nurturing or care grew up to be more anxious and stress-prone than pups raised by nurturing mothers. These behavioral differences were linked to epigenetic changes in the pups' brains, specifically in genes involved in the stress response. The neglectful mother's behavior had altered the way their pups' genes were expressed, making them more vulnerable to stress throughout their lives. Remarkably, researchers found that these epigenetic changes could be reversed if the pups were switched at birth. Pups born to neglectful mothers but raised by nurturing mothers showed normal stress responses, while pups born to nurturing mothers but raised by neglectful mothers exhibited heightened anxiety. This groundbreaking research highlights the profound influence of early life experiences on brain development and the potential for reversing negative epigenetic changes through nurturing environments. Section 6. Managing stress, taking charge of your brain health. While the effects of chronic stress on the brain are significant, the good news is that we can take steps to manage stress and protect our brain health. Engaging in stress-reducing activities can help lower cortisol levels, improve resilience, and promote overall well-being. One of the most effective ways to combat stress is regular physical activity. Exercise acts as a natural stress buster, releasing endorphins, which have mood-boosting effects, and reducing cortisol levels. Whether it's a brisk walk, a yoga class, or a dance session, finding an activity you enjoy and incorporating it into your routine can make a world of difference. Mindfulness-based practices, such as meditation and deep breathing exercises, have also been shown to effectively reduce stress and improve mental clarity. These practices involve focusing on the present moment, letting go of negative thoughts, and cultivating a sense of inner peace. Other helpful strategies include spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, engaging in hobbies, and ensuring adequate sleep. Prioritizing self-care and incorporating stress-reducing activities into our daily lives can help us build resilience, protect our brains from the harmful effects of chronic stress, and live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Section 7. Conclusion: Stress management for a healthier life. Stress is an inevitable part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. By understanding how stress affects our brains, we can make conscious choices to manage it effectively and safeguard our mental and physical well-being. Chronic stress, with its accompanying cortisol overload, can have detrimental effects on our brains, impairing cognitive function, increasing anxiety, and even contributing to the development of mental health disorders. However, by adopting stress-reducing practices like regular exercise, mindfulness, and adequate sleep, we can mitigate these negative effects and promote brain health. Remember, managing stress is not a luxury but a necessity for living a healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life.